Two lawyers make partner at the same Wall Street firm on the same Tuesday. Same class year, same floor, same 8 years. One of them becomes an owner, the other is a partner in name only. You are the second one. You think this is about who billed more hours. It is not. You billed more. You billed more every single year. Here is the number that pulled you in at 22. A first-year associate on the market scale now starts at $235,000. Straight out of law school, no clients, no experience. That number is real. It is also the last simple thing anyone tells you. Because you are not paid by the year, you are paid by the 10th of an hour. 6 minutes. That is the unit of your life. You will record about 24,000 of them a year. One question runs under all 8 years. Who actually gets paid inside a law firm? You find the answer in a conference room in December, in a meeting that lasts 11 minutes. Level 1, the summer associate. You are 24. It is the summer between your second and third year of law school. The firm gives you 10 weeks. Prorated at the first-year rate, that is roughly $4,500 a week. Mostly you eat. There is a boat at some point, somebody's house in Connecticut. Nobody makes you work. This is the only summer of your life that will look like this. You meet Ellis in the first week. Same summer class, same starting date in September. He is not the sharpest person in the room, and both of you know it. He is the one who remembers that a partner's daughter plays hockey. You think that is a personality. It is a business model. You will not understand that for 9 years. You get one real assignment. Read a credit agreement and flag the change of control clause. You are in the M&A group. There is no courtroom in this story. Nobody here goes to trial. Nobody here argues in front of a jury. You work on deals, companies buying companies with money that is not yours. You find the clause in 40 minutes. Then you spend 3 hours making the memo beautiful. Then somebody shows you the timekeeping software. The smallest thing you can enter is 0.1. 1/10 of an hour, 6 minutes. That is the industry standard, and it has been for decades. You type your first entry, reviewed credit agreement, 0.1. It takes you longer to write the line than it took to do the work. You laugh about that. Remember it. At the end of this, it is the whole story. The offer letter comes in September. You accept in 4 minutes. That is the last decision you will make quickly for 8 years. Level 2, the first year. You are 25. Your base salary is $235,000. At the end of the year, there is a bonus of $20,000 on top. That bonus scale has not moved since 2021. Nobody mentions that part. You buy a suit that fits. You call your parents. The number does something to their faces. Now here is what the number costs, in the only currency this building recognizes. The firm bills your time to a client by the hour. At elite firms, juniors are billed out at close to $1,000 an hour. Some are already at $895. Do that arithmetic once, slowly. 2,400 hours at that rate is over $2 million of billings, generated by a 25-year-old who is not allowed to run a meeting. You keep $255,000 of it. The rest is the building. That is not theft. That is the entire reason the building exists. Now the hours themselves. A billable hour is not an hour you worked. It is an hour a client agreed to pay for. Yale's career office ran the real math on this years ago. To bill 2,200 hours, you are at work 3,058 hours. That assumes 3 weeks of vacation and 2 weeks of holidays. It assumes no sick days, not one. The model does not have a box for being ill. You are aiming higher than 2,200. You are aiming at 2,400. At the same ratio, that is over 3,300 hours in the building. Spread across the working year, it is about 70 hours a week, every week. That is what 2,400 billable hours actually looks like from the inside. And the target is not a suggestion. At most firms, the bonus is gated on hours, usually somewhere between 1,900 and 2,200. One large firm asks juniors for 2,400 productive hours.
At least 1,950 must be billable. Only then does a bonus get discussed. Another pays a premium of 30% at 2,200 hours and 40% at 2,400. So the clock is not a measure of your work. The clock is your compensation. You learn to think in tenths of an hour. A phone call is a 0.2. An email is a 0.1.
You start doing it in your head on the subway. Then on holidays, your girlfriend asks what 0.4 means. You explain it. She is quiet for a while. Your first closing runs to 4 in the morning. 60 signature pages, 11 parties, 3 time zones. Your job is to make sure every page is signed by the right person. That is the whole job. It is also completely load-bearing. A company changes hands at 4:12 in the morning for $840 million. You send a PDF. Somebody in London types, "Thank you." Nobody claps. There are bagels at 6. You bill 16.4 hours that day. You do not round a single thing up. You do not have to. That first year, you bill 2,410 hours. Ellis bills 1,950. You notice. You assume somebody above you notices too. Somebody does, just not in the way you expect. Level 3, the mid-level. You are 28. Third year is $270,000. Fourth year is $320,000. Look closely at how that raise arrived. It arrived because of the year you graduated. Nothing else. Every person in your class got the same letter on the same day. The scale pays you for a date on a diploma. It does not pay you for the year you had. You billed 460 more hours than Ellis. Your raise was identical. The machine just said something out loud. You do not hear it. Then you learn about realisation. The firm bills at a standard rate. It does not collect the standard rate. Large firms often collect around 75% of what they bill. The industry target is 80 to 85, and that percentage has been quietly sliding since 2021, even as rates hit records. Here is where that lands on you personally. Every month a partner sits with a draft bill and crosses out lines. 6 hours of your Sunday become 4. 4 become 2. Nobody tells you which of your hours were deleted. You never see the marked up version. You worked the hours. The client did not pay for them. Both facts are true at once. Meanwhile, Ellis is doing something strange. He is flying places. Dallas for a 2-hour meeting. A dinner in Chicago that produces no document at all. His hours drop into the 1800s. You think he is slipping. In August, your girlfriend asks for one weekend. Just one, named in advance. You open the deal calendar and look for it. It is not there. You say September. You mean it when you say it. In September there is a signing. She does not leave in a scene. She leaves across a series of shorter conversations. By November, you cannot tell which one was the last one. You bill 218 hours that month. It is your best month of the year. Dana from your class leaves that spring. 4th year, in-house at a bank. She takes a pay cut. She gets her evenings back. She is not sad about it. That is not unusual. It is the norm. Associate attrition ran 19% in 2025. Of the associates who left, 83% were gone within 5 years of being hired. That is the highest share on record. Almost nobody in your starting class is still here at year 8. You read that as a pipeline that leaks. It is not leaking. A pyramid needs a wide bottom and a narrow top. The people who leave are not a failure of the model. They are the model. You stay. Of course you stay. You are winning on the only scoreboard you can see. Level 4, the senior associate. You are 31. 6th year pays $410,000. 7th year, $440,000. 8th year, $455,000. The top bonus on that scale is $115,000. A special bonus adds $25,000. Add it up. At the top of that scale, you are close to $595,000. You have arrived at the exact life the brochure sold you. You now run deals. 3 juniors report to you. You know every closing checklist by heart. And you are the one holding the draft bill at midnight, crossing out somebody else's Sunday. Now the firm shows you the rule it has been running on the whole time. Every dollar of revenue inside a law firm is assigned to a name. That is called origination credit. The name on the dollar is not the name of the person who did the work. It is the name of the person the client called first. Owning those relationships pays $25 million a year. Not for hours. Nobody bills that many hours. For a phone that rings. That is the top of the market. You have zero origination. What you have is 2,400 hours and a reputation for being reliable. That word again. Reliable. There is a man on your floor named Renner, 14 years in the building. His card has said partner for the last 9 of them. You notice something small. Renner never says the word we about this firm. He says the firm, always the firm, like a place he visits. You do not ask him about it. Nobody asks him about it. That is its own answer. Ellis, meanwhile, has a client, a mid-market private equity fund. He met the general counsel at a closing dinner in year 3. The fund does 4 acquisitions a year. Every one of them lands on his name. He bills less than you. He originates more than everyone. The partnership decision is coming. You think it is a decision about lawyers. Level 5, the non-equity partner. You are 33. It is a Tuesday in December. The meeting lasts 11 minutes. They shake your hand. There is a card with a new title. The announcement goes out that afternoon with 2 names on it, yours and Ellis's. Your mother screenshots it. For about 6 hours, it is the best day of your professional life. Then somebody hands you the paperwork, and the paperwork is a different document than his. Here is what becoming an equity partner actually involves. You put money in, a capital contribution, commonly 25 to 35% of your annual compensation. You are taxed as an owner. You get a share of the firm's profits. You get a vote. Here is what you were given instead: a title, a salary, the same tax form you have had since you were 25. No capital contribution, no profit share, no vote. Read that first one again, because it is the tell. Nobody asked you for money. That is how you know you were not made an owner. The buy-in is not the price of admission. The buy-in is the admission. And this is not a quirk of your firm. It is the design of the industry now. 86% of Am Law 100 firms run a non-equity tier. Across the Am Law 100, 52.1% of all partners are non-equity. The employees are the majority. At one firm in that group, 92.4% of the partners are non-equity. At the biggest firms, the average track to actual equity now runs past 10 years. So you go and look at Renner properly for the first time. 9 years with the word partner on his card. 9 years as an employee with a nice title. He is not a cautionary tale on your floor. He is the floor. You still go to the partner retreat. You still get the dinner and the branded jacket. There is a session on firm strategy. You sit through all of it. Then there is a closed session and a list of who stays in the room. You have worked here 8 years. You have never seen that list. Renner has never seen it either. And now the rule that nobody in this building will ever say to your face: hours are a cost. Clients are an asset. The firm does not buy your labor into ownership. It rents it at a very high price for as long as you last. Ellis brought in $6 million of work last year. You brought in 2,410 hours. One of those things is on the asset side of a balance sheet. You go home and tell them you made partner. It is completely true. It is also not what any of them think it means. Level 6. The name on the door. You are 38. You know exactly what equity looks like now. The trade press prints it every spring. In 2026, the Am Law 100 reported gross revenue of $178.95 billion, up 13% in a year. Revenue per lawyer, $1,390,000. Profits per equity partner, $3,590,000, up 14%. 62 of those firms cleared $1 billion in revenue. At the most profitable firm in the country, profits per equity partner came in above $12 million. Now read that metric one more time, slowly. Profits per equity partner. You are in the numerator. You have always been in the numerator. You are not in the denominator, and you never will be. So you try to build a book. Everyone in your position tries to build a book. And you find the thing nobody writes down. Relationships are not won, they are handed over.
A partner has to decide to introduce you and then step back. There is no quarter where that is scheduled. That general counsel already has a lawyer. It is the man who bought him dinner. That was 2019. Meanwhile, the rates keep climbing without you. At the 50 largest firms, senior partner rates rose about 16% in a single year. Some now quote $3,400 an hour. At the very top, a handful have reached $4,000. Your rate goes up every year. Your name still does not appear anywhere in the profit pool. You are extremely well paid. You are also, in the language of the contract, staff.
So the last question left is who is on the other side of all that money? The zoom out. Look at who signs the engagement letters. Global deal value is on track to reach about $4 trillion this year. In 2025, private equity and venture capital accounted for 15% of the $3.13 trillion in global M&A. Those funds are the clients. They are the reason your floor has lights on at 3 in the morning. And what you do for them is simple. You draft the sentence that transfers ownership, over and over, for 8 years, then for all the years after. You write the paragraph that makes somebody else an owner. Then you close the file and record 0.4. That is the answer to the question from the first minute. Who gets paid inside a law firm? Not the person who does the work, the person who owns the relationship, and the person who owns the firm. Everyone else is a very expensive cost line with a beautiful title. Ellis did not beat you. Ellis just stood next to the only thing the building actually buys. Somewhere tonight, a 24-year-old is opening the timekeeping software for the first time. He types 4 words and a number. Reviewed credit agreement. 0.1. Writing the line takes longer than the work did. He laughs about it. He will do that roughly 24,000 times a year for the next 8 years. They will give him a title with the word partner in it. They will never once ask him for money, and he will not understand why that matters. The clock in this building measures everything except who owns it. You can bill every 6 minutes of your life and still be renting the chair. Watch this next if you want to see the same clock running in a different building, where the wait is 13 years and the vote happens in a room without you.